Hi everyone, welcome to our online Brahma Kumari's Meditation Museum segments as we continue to travel together down this journey with the isolation and staying in our homes and our spaces so we don't infect anyone. I'm your host and friend and holder up of the space, Sister Jenna, and we've been doing this now for a week and we've enjoyed every minute of it. I was sharing with Santosh earlier that we're maybe even a little bit more busier than we were when we weren't doing this, but what I've loved about it is the consistency and the everyday for you to tune in when you want, especially between 6:30 and 7:30. I know it's a time where families come together, but at the same token, it's also a time for your downtime. It's in mystical traditions, in Eastern traditions, they tend to do prayer between this time, 6:30 to 7:30. I don't know if you knew that. So in Indian culture, they have a ritual called arti, where they go in front of the deities and basically pay tribute to the deities to remove their suffering. So at this particular time, we love to sit in meditation between 6:30 and 7:30 and remove whatever sorrow or sadness might be in the soul, but also to remove the sorrow and the sadness from souls all around. So I'm glad that you could join us, and we're going to plan to stay with it very consistent. We're pretty committed and consistent folks, as I'm sure that you've seen, and we owe our blessings and strength because of our disciplined life, which isn't discipline out of problems or challenge or hardship. It's just discipline because so many of the students that study here are just curious to learn more about who they are. Today we want to talk about gratitude because in a time in which we feel like a lot of things are being taken away from us, we want to be grateful. We wish to be grateful for even what we have, even if it's something small. And when we feel a sense of loss, or we feel a sense of uncertainty, or sorrow, or pain, frustration, if things aren't going the way that we're accustomed to them going, then our thoughts can go in that direction and we forget to be thankful and to bless the things that are going well. For example, I bet you have people that you love, right, Puri? like you like you'll just have people that you love and folks who really care for you, and folks who do value who you are and what you are. And then you've got things like, I was giving thanks to the person who invented the internet, and I was telling Santosh the other day, what would happen if the internet goes down? What are we going to do if the internet goes down? Then we're still stuck with ourselves. So the virus has come, and the virus is basically saying, go inwards, check yourself, see what you're grateful for, and be appreciative for that, and not to really feel like, oh, the world's falling apart. I don't know who's sick. I don't know who's carrying the virus. Am I a carrier? We don't have a vaccine as yet. That's fine. We don't have a lot of things, but we do have a lot of things. My friend today, Dr. Kanu Kogod, was sharing that she's in Florida and she went to a supermarket. I forgot the name of the supermarket. But generally when you walk into the supermarket, there's a place for a hand sanitizer, so to speak, to wipe your hands. Somebody took the whole container. So when they were leaving the store, they don't know who, but somebody just took all that sanitizer that you take when you get into the supermarket to wipe the carts. And she thought to herself, what kind of a karma is that going to create, where this one person takes this sanitizer that could have cleaned the hands of 400 people that wouldn't infect people, and for that one person to just have that for themselves and hoard it? Are they really going to be protected with that kind of karma? Because they could have risked having 400 people get sick. So there was a lady from the supermarket who had like a spray and a paper towel that she now the manager had to call her to do this for the customers that were coming into the supermarket. So usually when you see acts like that, there's somebody who feels I'm not very grateful about life and I don't have enough, and so no one else should have enough. So I'm asking you to think about the times that we're in. Shops are closed, movie theaters are closed, churches are closed, houses are closed, events are closed down. If we can't think about taking care of each other and be grateful that we have the ability to share something with someone else, I don't know what future we have. And so think more in that context, that I am grateful for the little that I have. I'm going to show you a video shortly, which is done by Oprah Winfrey on gratitude. And I think it answers a lot of questions about the whole energy of gratefulness. But always remember this, my friends. Gratefulness, gratitude is a choice. You have the power to choose what you want to be grateful for. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. And if you find that when you're feeling like, I'm so happy about this time, I'm so grateful about this moment in my life, then you find that your heart and your spirit of benevolence just starts to really expand. And if you want to attract good and you want to attract abundance and beauty and the best people in your life, it is so important to be grateful for what you have. I'm quite open about sharing in my relationships and so on. And one of my friends who I loved so dearly for decades, there was a misunderstanding because we saw the same point of view in two different ways. And she wasn't wrong and I don't think I was wrong. And yet when we came together, and we had such a beautiful conversation when I said, this relationship means too much to me. And it wasn't possible for me to speak to you unless my heart was clean. And that moment that we had together was a moment for me of gratefulness that I actually have a friendship in which I am given that space, but I'm also given the safety to be honest enough with my friend to say, I didn't want to come back into our relationship being unclean inside of me as a person with you. That's how much your relationship means to me, and that's how grateful I am to have you as my friend. And so when we look at the word gratitude, my brothers and sisters, look at it at a very deep level. Be grateful for the fact that we still have air to breathe and we still have enough. Every day I keep thinking, I know a cure is going to come soon. Every day I keep thinking it's going to end pretty soon. We're going to move through this quicker than it's being anticipated. And the reason why I'm having these thoughts is because I know these thoughts will help to generate that vibration in the atmosphere. Anyway, thank you for joining us on this. I'm going to play a video by Oprah on gratitude, and I hope you like it. And then you come back, we'll go through a little bit more of a little workshop and exercise on the power of gratitude.
When you think you don't have anything, I always say go back to your breath. And what I know is that if you just start with your breath and start being grateful for that, it's thinking about what you have versus what you don't have and focusing on the one thing that you are grateful for increases the energy of gratitude and rises just a little bit the joy inside yourself, just a little bit. If you can just get to one good feeling helps build on another good feeling and another good feeling. Just the idea of saying, I'm grateful for my breath. I am grateful that I was able to get up and walk on both legs this morning. And really feel that. I am grateful that I'm able to use my hands. I think about Monica George every time I go to reach for something. Monica George, who was the mother who was on our show, who'd gone into the hospital to have her second child and contracted a disease and had to have both her arms and both her legs cut off. She said, get me out of here so I can get home and take care of my babies.
We salute you for the light that you bring.
Starting with what you have and what you can do versus what you can't, focusing on the $3 in your wallet will bring you $5 sooner than focusing on the $50 you don't have. So if you allow yourself to get to the space of a good feeling, I don't care what that good feeling is, a good feeling increases more good feeling. In the same way that being in a bad situation and focusing on the bad situation continues to make you feel worse. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is read some kind of spiritual material. I read some kind of spiritual enlightenment. So I start my day with something that is going to put me in a positive frame of mind so that I begin attracting to me positive energy. So what this means that you've watched this right now, it means you've opened up just a little channel of energy to allow some joy to rise in yourself.
Wasn't that perfect? Didn't that really sort of answer and support this conversation that we're having about gratitude? And so, as you hear that and you take a moment of reflection for yourself, let us ask this question. What type of person am I? Especially when I look into the mirror, am I grateful for what I see? Just take a moment. And I'd like you to give that some thought. Am I grateful for the person that I see in the mirror? And Santosh, if you could just move the slide for me. In looking in the mirror and asking yourself if you're grateful for the person that you see, I'd like you to now check the feeling that is emerging inside of you as you ask this question to yourself. What is the person? Who is this person that you see? Are you grateful to that person? And I'll ask Santosh now to put up on the screen the question that I'd like you to percolate on for maybe another 2 minutes or so. What do you think is blocking you from being more grateful? Is there something inside of you that's blocking you from being grateful? So the question really, when I go deeper into it, is what are the blockages that prevent you from having gratitude? What are the blockages that are preventing you from having gratitude? Santosh, is that question up? Take this time and write down on a piece of paper if you get a chance or on your phone, what are the blockages that are preventing you from being more grateful? Did you have breakfast today? Did you have a nice warm cup of tea or coffee? Was there someone in your house or in your apartment that you cared for, that you know cares for you? Did you look outside? Did you see the cherry blossoms opening up? Did you see the wind blowing? Were you not able to see it? And instead, was there something else clouding that reality? Try to see if you can identify what's blocking you from being grateful for all the amazing things you have in your life, however small or large. Write it down. Okay, let us come back now. Santosh, the camera now. Because what this exercise does for us, is that when you're able to open up your heart and to be more open and appreciative for the things that you have in your life, you can then actually start to invite the energy of the divine in your life. And that's what we need now more than ever. We need to have the energy of God more and more in our hearts, being able to express the benevolence of spirit. I've noticed that the story that I told about the person who stole the sanitizers in the supermarket at the door, at that moment there just wasn't benevolence. There wasn't the thought about God. There wasn't the thought about being grateful. There wasn't the thought about the consequence of this choice that I'm going to make. There wasn't the thought that hundreds of people would have sanitized their hands and would protect the atmosphere in the supermarket. So what a grateful person is like is that they do think about the well-being of another person. When I had come back from India and I had come down with a little bit of the cold, it wasn't corona or anything, I stayed in my area, I sanitized, I wiped down the place, and I was thinking about other people in the house and that I didn't want to infect them. So when somebody is living this very grateful existence, they think about other people because they live a life of gratitude. And one of the most beautiful powers about God is that God is constantly giving to us, always. He's giving, and the energy of God is bestowing and bestowing. A grateful person always shares. They will always bestow, and they will always give. So I hope you're enjoying this. Here's a quote that I loved from Albert Einstein. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Isn't that gorgeous? So life becomes a game of fun, health, happiness, and abundance because we have the power to choose to move through life with that gratitude. And there is scientific proof out there of the benefit of having a life of gratitude. And this next video that we're about to show is a video that gives us the proof of the benefit of being grateful. We have a lot to be grateful right now during this particular global crisis. And the first person that we need to be grateful for is you. That I want to be grateful of who I am, where I've come, and yet I know that there's still more for me that I can do. So enjoy this next video, and I'll see you shortly.
That adopting an attitude of gratitude, simply expressing appreciation and being more thankful, can measurably improve your overall well-being. For example, studies prove that gratitude can increase happiness, reduce depression, and strengthen resiliency. Grateful people often experience reduced blood pressure, less chronic pain, increased energy, even longer lives. People who purposefully express more gratitude report higher self-esteem than those who don't, and they're more likely to help others, a pro-social behavior also linked to greater happiness. People who capture grateful thoughts before bed sleep better than those who don't. Why so many positive changes? Because gratitude actually rewires our brains, kickstarting the production of dopamine and serotonin. Like antidepressants, these feel-good neurotransmitters activate the bliss center of the brain, creating feelings of happiness and contentment. This appears to be self-perpetuating. Research suggests that with regular practice, you'll train your prefrontal cortex to better appreciate and retain positive experiences and thoughts, and to deflect the negative ones. Here are a few simple ways to deliberately cultivate that attitude of gratitude. Celebrate minor accomplishments. Think about what you have rather than dwelling on what you don't. Tell the people in your life something you appreciate about them. Tell yourself too. Volunteer, hold a door for a stranger, or simply smile more, and you'll probably feel better, as kindness and giving are connected to gratitude. Similar positive brain changes can occur from regular meditation and mindfulness. Keep a daily gratitude journal using an old-fashioned notebook or a high-tech app. The science is clear. Give gratitude a go. You'll be thankful you did.
Now that was fantastic. Scientific proof that if you live a life of gratitude, everything opens up for you. It's a good way of being, and I've personally had moments where I forget how great everything is, and I'm in my pity mode or complaining mode, or why me, or this is just not fair. And when I catch myself doing that, it usually is about 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 minutes later after I blow over, and I go back to saying, Jen, you're so fortunate. Keep counting your blessings. And then that seems to open up different feelings as a vibration in the soul. Our thoughts are energy. And if our thoughts are based on goodness and positivity and benevolence, then it creates that energy first in our bodies, in the environment, in the walls, in the nature, in relationships with our finance, and of course our relationships. And so when we think about thought and thought healing and the power to make a choice, that even right now, how many of you are grateful for this moment that we have together online? And how often have you thanked the inventor of an internet, the inventor of video online, the inventor of Facebook, the inventor of YouTube, the inventor that took a satellite up in space, that we can connect using a scientific gadget versus the power of our pure thought. I believe that we'll come to a particular point where we won't even need science to communicate with each other, because we would have evolved into such grateful and compassionate and pure human beings that you'll feel the goodness of my thought when I send you a pure wish. So if anyone is out there and there's something that you'd like to share in the comment section of what you're grateful for, please share that now and we can read it out. For example, like Sister Gita, are you grateful for anything today?
Oh, yes.
What are you grateful for?
That I woke up and came out on time.
Good. So Sister Gita says she's grateful that she woke up early, came out for the morning class on time. Oh, and she came out early on time to participate in listening to our session. Anyone else, Santosh?
One lady named Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
I'm so thankful for everything. Coronavirus, social distancing, equal to spiritual closeness.
So Valerie, it's so nice to have you on today. I think it might be Valerie Still, who's a Hall of Famer for the Women's Basketball League. So I'm glad that you could join us, and you're grateful for social distancing so there can be spiritual closeness, and you're even thankful that the virus has brought us to a different way of looking and seeing things. Very beautiful, Valerie Still. Thank you so much for joining in today. I'm grateful for you, Valerie, and the enormous amount of community work that you've been doing with kids and in individuals to raise self-esteem, especially among young girls. So I hope the whole world gets to find out about your enormous charity to young boys and girls because your heart is like gold. So we thank you for you, Valerie. Anyone else?
One lady named Tracy says, I'm grateful to find this video.
Tracy, we're grateful that you found the video and that maybe you were just passing time and surfing through. So again, you have no idea of how these small moments in our lives can really awaken things in us that we've been missing. I know a lot of us are going on social media and looking at things, and I'm seeing a lot of us are posting good things. But when you actually pause and begin to feel the energy in the space and connect to the narrative, the people, the story, you're grateful because you might come out to be a better person even after that. I'm grateful for the awareness of the energy of the divine, that I know that the energy of the divine doesn't belong to a specific religion, but it's a quality that every religion and every person in the world has the capacity to tap into. I'm grateful that the whole world is enduring the same karmic account, that I sense that together we're going to start to remember what's important and to remember God more. I'm grateful that I'm optimistic that we will come out of this in some way or the other better versions of ourselves. And if for whatever reason we end up worse than we were when we got into the, coronavirus epidemic, I'm going to be grateful for this moment. I'm grateful now because on the phone is my wonderful brother, Louis Gossett Jr. Louis, I'm on air. Would you like to say hello to everyone? You would. So, see.
I'm listening to you now.
Oh, you're listening, so listen. I was just sharing with everyone how I'm grateful for all these small moments, and you called in.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for this solitude that's getting into looking in the mirror, being grateful for what I have at this age, what God has given me. And I think it's the best thing that happened for us to be in solitude so we can have a clean relationship with God.
Beautiful. I'm going to ask you to turn down the volume on the YouTube because I want us to have a little dialogue together if it's possible.
I just turned it down.
Great. The fact that you're grateful, and Santosh, if you can find a picture of Lou and put it on screen, it will be great. For the solitude, Lou, some folks are having a difficult time already. I've gotten some calls, and
One said that they've been alone.
what would you say that means for us to spend so much time by ourselves? What should we do with when we're not feeling very comfortable alone?
Well, on a daily basis, if we listen to you, and they are obviously, to be quiet and let go and let God get back into our system. And in order to do that, we have to receive that message by doing certain things for ourselves. As prayer and meditation, then quiet and solitude is the main ingredient. So I'm very grateful for that disease. I remember as a child, and my parents and my grandparents, they were in the earth all of the time. And in the earth was all of these diseases that we didn't get, that didn't affect us.
Yeah.
Whether it was chicken pox or measles, because we are part of the earth.
Yes.
So now I think we've gotten a little bit too healthy, too hygienically not a part of this planet.
So tell me, with the time that you have, could you share some of your concepts of prayer or meditation? How have you been praying and meditating now?
Well, you take that deep breath and I say the Lord's Prayer first. And I say it with meaning every word. I may have to say it twice, sometimes three times. But eventually it gets to that receptive mode. And our job is to be in as much of a receptive mode of the divine message as possible on a daily basis. 2 and 3. So once you get into that receptive mode, the messages come from everywhere, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And you get it. And once you get it, then you go into the next level. You are brought and drawn into the next level on a daily basis. And common sense, spiritual common sense, seems to hit the system when before you started to pray, there was a problem. So now I look at the stuff. I'm very grateful for Donald Trump to be president. I'm very grateful for there to be a disease, because now we're awake, we're paying attention, we're seeking a divine order, we're seeking the answers. So that's steps for us to be more receptive of the
Yes.
divine that was there all along.
So I'm going to ask you honestly, and I know we've always had very open-hearted conversations. Do you ever get afraid? Are you a little bit afraid about what the times mean? And if so, can you define what your fear represents?
It's a claustrophobic fear. That's it. And fear is the element of the devil. I call him Lucifer. That's his door to our uncomfortableness. If we allow that door to stay open and not do anything about it, then the day is ruined. So we get to get rid of that problem early enough for the day to be blessed. And gratitude is the number one. Be grateful for my puppies. I'm living in a home where a herd of deer go to the lake every day and they come back and eat out dust. And I just watching that and my dogs and sitting here and listening to you and people like you and getting on the phone, it piles. The gratitude piles up.
Yes.
So by the end of the evening, you sleep like a baby.
I feel the same.
But you don't wake up that way, but sometimes you have an assessment.
Yes.
You know what kind of meditation you have to have for the day.
So leave us with your vision of the future post-coronavirus. How are you visualizing our humanity will evolve into?
Well, there's a program I do, and it's called Having Had a Spiritual Awakening. As a result of these events, we practice it in all our affairs. It's still a foregone conclusion that there's so many different kinds of man in the world, but we're all human beings. And our collaboration together, doing a positive thing on a daily basis, gives us the keys to the kingdom. Mm-hmm. We have work to do. We have to clean up the oceans. We have to be kinder to ourselves and one another.
Yes.
Why pray and why meditate if you don't want to go there?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, our desire to go there supersedes anything that could cause it a problem. But we got to do it every day.
Beautiful.
Marriages get saved because of it. Families get put back together. War disappears. And good feelings take over because it's stronger than the negatives. But we have to allow the doors to stay open for the delight and the gratitude on a daily basis. Especially when we don't want to.
This is a question I've been asking a lot of friends. When you think of God, what comes to mind? Or maybe let me reframe the question. What's your interpretation of God?
It's a divine power, not of this planet. It doesn't have a look on it, but it has a feel. And it's something that we have to obey and pay attention to and connect on a daily basis without question.
And what do you love the most about life?
About life?
What do you love the most about life?
The examples of God and that power in all my affairs. People, places, things, and these beautiful animals. I have a little chihuahua now.
Yeah, I remember her. She's adorable. Yeah. She must be enjoying her new house.
She's out there barking at the deer, coming back from the
I love that. Louis Gossett Jr., thank you so much. We're very grateful for you and your work. Are you working on any current projects? I know the last one you did was Watchman with Regina King.
I step away. God has put us all together in a solitude.
Uh-huh.
There's no work.
Oh, yeah, there's no more filming. You can't do any more film. Everything has been canceled, I'm hearing.
So it's God's way of us going
wow.
Looking back in the mirror, so that when we come out of this seclusion,
yes,
we better, that there is a law that we have to stop pretty quickly. If you can't come in a crowd, how can you line up to vote?
Yes, very well, very well. Thank you so much for calling in. We're grateful for you.
Thank you.
Lots of spiritual hug.
I miss you all. God
Me
bless.
too. Take care. Thanks for calling in. Bye. That's where I was telling you, everyone, that the more grateful you are, we're just talking about gratitude, and 5-time Oscar winner Louis Gossett from Officer and a Gentleman and Roots and Watchmen, which is one of the latest HBO series, was just sitting back and watching and calling in because he's just grateful for the moment and the solitude. And one of the things that I liked was that he was sharing about, his prayer. And, why are you going to pray and meditate if you don't want to evolve? That was a very powerful point. If you don't want to evolve and if you don't want to come out of this alive, why are you praying? Why are you meditating? Why are you even watching a show like this? So, Lou, after this, we'll come up to Atlanta and come take over your house and cook. All right. Any other comments that we have online?
Feel Good says, I'm absolutely grateful for this downtime, which has allowed absolute creativity without interruptions.
Wow. Choreographer Howard Feelgood, who's an incredible choreographer. Howard, I think you've done Paula Abdul, J Lo, and a few others that he's worked with in the past. And again, thank you for joining us. I didn't expect Gratitude to have been bringing all you people up to come say hi to me after so long. But yeah, it's a good time to reflect and to really think about, now you can be more creative with the things that you've always wanted to do and put something amazing together. So thank you, Feel Good.
Chamara says, I'm truly grateful for everything.
Chamara, Sister Gita's very good friend, a courageous warrior, has survived so many challenges. Yes, you have a lot to be grateful for. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Diana says, I'm grateful for breath.
Deanna, I too am grateful for breath. Why don't we take a deep breath right now? And hopefully I won't start coughing.
We have a lot of people.
Yeah, so any more comments? What are you grateful for? Share it.
Asmita says, thankful for this moment and looking forward to God's miracle.
Smita, thank you. Smita is thankful for this moment and God's miracle. Thank you.
Valerie still again says, and of course I'm grateful for Sister Jenna.
Of course, Valerie, you have to be grateful for your sister Jenna. We tribal.
Suhani says, I'm grateful for nature and the beautiful view from my window and for these sessions.
Suhani, thank you. I'm grateful for nature. Suhani is grateful for the beautiful view through her window, and she's also grateful for these sessions. Do you feel how the energy is changing as you find that I'm just grateful for so much of the good that's in my life? Anyone else?
Mary Flor says, I'm grateful that the pace is slower everywhere and that collectively we can now get off the rat race and take a break.
Mm-hmm. Mary Flor says, I'm grateful for the pace is slowing down and we can get off of the rat race and just really begin to breathe and appreciate life more. This is a good one.
Kavita says, grateful that my kids are finally coming home tomorrow. Grateful for all the online meditation groups have actually helped me meditate more during this time.
Excellent, Kavita. We're so glad that so many groups online are now offering meditations. We're planning that since we're doing this every day at 6:30 to 7:30, the intention was that we want to keep you spiritually strong. Because after a while, it's like being on a flight for 10, 12. If you've taken these long flights like we do, which are like a day of flying, I've always wondered, how can I sit in a plane for 15 or 18 hours and I'm tired? What's going on up here? So the last time I went to India, I sat on the plane and I just sat up and I kept thinking about a particular area in my life that I noticed whenever I would go inwards, I would stop and I wouldn't go any further. And I knew that I would have 16 or I think 17 hours on that flight to think about, why do I stop when I get to that wall? No movies, I think I listened to music on my phone, then I wrote some thoughts and feelings and I just contemplated and I just kept thinking, if the soul is an immortal, eternal, imperishable energy, there's no need for me to pick up the vibrations in this plane, and there's no need for me to distract myself too much from me, and there's no need for me to not serve myself. And that was my practice going to India in this last trip. And it was an amazing experience. It wasn't good for my body because when I got to India, I couldn't sleep because my body clock was completely off. And I should have taken a nap on the plane. But I just couldn't sleep. My mind was so awake. So it wasn't good, but what to do?
Durga Kuchi Batla says, I'm grateful to my family to give me this time to tune in for this live stream on Sunday.
Yes, thanks the family. Thank you, Durga. Thank you so much.
Nagasri says, my daughter said that she is grateful for playing with her brother.
So Nagashri, your daughter is Gitanjali. So give Gitanjali a big hug from all of us here at the center and tell her we're missing all of you. And as soon as this is over, we can come over and play with her dolls and have fun again, and everything will be fine. So we're very glad that you could join us for this.
Feelgood says that grateful to breathe in the time for this video when normally just being busy doing things.
Yeah. We've been so busy, and the planet has been hurting. I think Lou said it best too, is that we were just moving so wild. We need this time to just settle down and get back into just simple living, and just being spiritually evolved, really. So,
Mita Amin says, I'm grateful to join this meditation. And
we're grateful for you to join, Mita. Thank you.
Sabina says, I'm grateful for you taking time during this time to teach us and remind us and keeping us together.
Oh, thank you, Sabina. I think it's pure selfishness because we're aware of the mental capacity that's required in these particular times, and we're aware of the future that we will need to have a mental expansion and a mental sense of strength. So if we don't keep our minds and our hearts and our intellect evolved, then it'll be hard when we go back out. We'll be the same people. We can't come out of this the same people, folks. We just can't. And I have scrolled through some of the Twitters, and I do see there's still some negativity going on out there. And so I'm asking you, don't forward those tweets, and maybe send vibrations to that person and just say, that's not what the future holds. The future doesn't hold individuals who lack self-respect and can't give respect to others. So just keep practicing sending your pure thoughts and pure wishes onto people to just help them, because we're going to need to have a real high percentage of positive thoughts post-corona.
Actually we have a lot more comments now.
Yeah.
Janvi says, grateful to connect with family and friends in so many ways and send blessings and pure feelings to the world via this special platform of Meditation Museum.
Excellent, Janvi. Thank you so much. We're grateful for you tuning in and listening in as well. And I can feel how the energy of gratitude is raising the vibration. So you're seeing the proof of what it means to have gratefulness in your nature and the power in gratitude. Excellent.
Kavita says, yes, grateful for how this has brought the whole world together. Brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Feel good again says, grateful for y'all of the Meditation Museum. Linda says, I'm grateful for chancing on this session this evening.
Oh, we're glad that you chanced in, Linda. May you chance in every day at 6:30 to 7:30 too.
This evening with you, Sister Jenna, especially your voice that reaches every aspect of energy that you send to us and the 2 videos. Thank you.
Welcome. Anytime, Linda. Anytime.
Ushali says, I'm grateful for giving me the chance to change myself in and out.
Good. Kushali, from all the studies that we offer and the teachings of the Meditation Museum, especially at the Brahma Kumaris, we just want everyone to find the inner tools to be strong enough to charter through life, period, whether it's through a corona epidemic or life is sweet, still, can we bring the best of ourselves forward? And I think gratitude will give us the strength to do that. So as we get to a close, because I know we're going to have a lot more comments, and I really keep them coming in. Let us fill up this whole program with just the energy of gratitude. And as you know, it'll be available on YouTube always. And if you'd like to do a watch party, I just found out from our friend Jennifer Hill that you can do watch parties of certain videos and just share it with your friends about something that touched your heart, so that we can create more energy of gratitude in the atmosphere. And I'd like to hold a moment of reflection and silence for, again, our Daddy Janki, who's 104 years old, and seeing her as the angel that she is, and also sending our wishes to the wonderful team that takes care of her, and seeing them as the angels. And just, I'm grateful that the planet has such human beings on it. I'm grateful that there's a Daddy Janki whose pure vibrations, pure wishes, pure presence, and unlimited sacrifice to service has uplifted and empowered thousands and thousands and thousands of lives, including my own. I'm grateful for Daddy Janki and Hansa that takes care of her and the team. And so let's just take this moment to extend our gratefulness to the people that have meant a lot to us in our life. And I'd like to also send my condolence to Trina Wyatt, the CEO and founder of Conscious Good, whose mother passed away 2 days ago. So it's been a very hard time for her. And I just wanted her to know that we're also holding her up, and we're grateful for the beauty of her mother, and we're grateful for you, Trina Wyatt, and grateful that these pure vibrations will go with Mom wherever her soul travels to her next journey and next destination. And we're grateful for the strength that you have held on to in these past 2 days. I know they haven't been very easy. All right, so we've got some steps that I'm going to show you that we could take now. If you can show it for me, Santosh. So these are some really nice steps that we can explore where gratitude is concerned, and I might have to read them for you. It's a good time to keep a daily journal or 3 things you're very thankful for. This works well first thing in the morning or just before you go to bed at night. The other thing is, make it a practice to tell someone, a spouse, a friend, a co-worker, something that you appreciate about them every day. Another step, these are just 3 basic steps. Look in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth and think about something you've done well recently. Or think about something that you like about yourself. And feel that energy, feel that vibration in your spirit. So I hope those 3 practical steps will help you to get by, and I hope you've enjoyed our conversation today on the power of gratitude. I know I did. And I'd like to share with you a video that I came across which I thought answered just this program and conversation on gratitude. Sometimes we think we are only grateful for the things that seem to come with gold and beautiful bows, but we can also be grateful for the pain and the struggles and the trials and the tribulations, because they come as a gift but in a different way. And what I have learned is that every challenge I've ever gone through have emerged an inner strength I never knew I had. So let's see what strength this is going to bring out in us, America and the world, and let's be appreciative for what it is. And if you find yourself complaining, criticizing, judging, ridiculing, blaming, take a breath and ask yourself at that moment, What do I need to be grateful for right now? Okay? All right. So tonight, here's your homework assignment. Write a letter. Write a letter to yourself about everything that you're grateful for. And before you turn in, read it. And when you wake up in the morning, read it again. And feel free to tell me how you feel tomorrow in the day. All right? So here's a beautiful video on being thankful. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned tomorrow, and we'll continue with some more pleasant conversations and our spiritual sustenance together. Take care, everyone, and please be careful.
Thank you for shaking us and showing us we are dependent on something much bigger than we think. Thank you for making us appreciate the luxury we lived in, abundance of products, freedom, health, and realizing we were taking it for granted. Thank you for stopping us to make us see how lost we were in the busyness, not having time for the most basic things. Thank you for allowing us to put aside all our problems we thought were so important and showing us what is actually important. Thank you for stopping the transport. The earth was begging us to look at the pollution for a very long time. We didn't listen. Thank you for all the fear. It has been a global disease for years, but not many of us wanted to face it. And now we have to face it and learn how to embrace it with love and with the support of our community. Thank you for this reevaluation of our lives. Thank you as we finally understand what it means that we are all connected. Thank you for the unity between all of us. We knew the world has to change. Thank you for helping us to undermine everything and giving us a chance to build the world from the very beginning.
This virus is part of us. It's between us, in us. It connected us all, either physically or energetically. Gratitude supports the immune system, but also lets us see things from many perspectives. And it's up to us which perspective we will choose, but best is to be aware of all of them.
The sun must set as the day it ends, and so shall all of us. The gift of silence is returned to each one's soul by soul. I know you hold it in your heart as you watch your life unfold. So go to the sea, flow to the ocean, fly like a bird to his arms. Take all the love of all who will miss you, but know we are never apart. Thank you